Brought to you by Toshiba, leading innovation.
Hello and welcome to 30 Minutes. This week on the Carjackers, we expose the musclemen banks use to lift your car and arm twist you into making that payment. We begin this episode with a case study from Kolva in the state of Goa.
This was Joey D'Souza's dream car, which he'd financed from ICICI Bank in March 2002. But his dream ride abruptly came to a halt on the 6th of August 2004.
They gave me 2 blows, they pushed me, they grabbed the key from me.
The reason? After making 26 on-time installments, Joet had failed to pay 2 because he'd run into financial trouble. According to RBI guidelines, the bank should have first sent default notices to Joet, then given him reasonable time to make up for the defaulted payments, and under no condition should it have used muscle power to recover the loan. It's here right in front of the Kolva post office that Joet was accosted, beaten up, and his car was snatched in broad daylight by the recovery agents of ICICI Bank. Police control room file notings applied for by Joet under the RTI Act clearly show that the ruffians were sent by none other than ICICI Bank, in direct contravention of a Supreme Court order.
In the month of October 2004, I have written a letter to the Director of Transport saying that the vehicle is in dispute with me and ICICI Bank, and you are not authorized to sell the vehicle. You have to inform me.
But recovery agents got round this as well. On the 31st of March 2005, they simply forged Joet's signatures on this letter, terminating the hypothecation on the car. On the 4th of April, someone posing as Joet files a complaint at the Kolva police station on this ready-made template, stating that the car papers have been lost while driving. The irony is that Joet wasn't even in possession of the car at that time. The next day, they forge another letter, posing as Joet, asking the RTO to withdraw the freeze on the sale of his car. On the 21st of May, the crime branch surprisingly issues a no objection certificate, giving the green signal to transfer the car. And on the 25th of May, Joet's signatures are forged on all the sale papers of the car, and on the 30th of May, the RTO clears the transfer of the car to Malappuram in Kerala.
The banks nowadays seem to be engaging gangsters to seize the cars from defaulters. Now this is done by the banks in collusion with the police.
It's only after Joet went to court that the police filed this FIR 3 months later in August 2005. So what's the progress of the case?
We have registered a case and an investigation is going on. Soon we'll be filing a charge sheet in that case.
It's almost 2 years now, not a single arrest has been made. Need one say more? As one walks along the street of any major city in Goa like this one in Margao, the one thing that strikes one are all the shiny new bright cars that line the street sides. But not everything is nice and bright about the transport scene in Goa. That's because most of these cars are financed, and if a loan goes bad, banks prefer to use strong-arm tactics rather than going to the courts. That's where men like Johnny D'Cruz come in. So how does Johnny recover cars?
We had 4 lungi fellows from Karnataka who used to do the needful.
But would they resort to violence?
Yeah, we had to resort to violence at times.
Like what would you do?
We would slap them or kick them.
And how would the recovery gangs prevent a case from being filed in the police station?
20,000.
20,000 to the police?
Yeah.
This would go to the local police or?
It would go to their head brass.
That's just what happened to Joet when his car was forcefully taken from him.
The PSI was reluctant to take down my case.
This is the man, Sub-Inspector Jivva Dalvi, who had reportedly refused to take Joet's complaint and was allegedly part of the recovery racket. We go undercover, but when our hidden camera is discovered,
This is my pouch, sir.
it's not us, but the officer who's begging for mercy.
I just request, please keep me out of it.
Yeah, no problem.
Please. If you check my pulse, you just check my pulse if you are.
The reason for his fear? is this bungalow worth 50 lakh rupees that PSI Dalvi has managed to accumulate in just a few years of service. And it's this fall from grace of the men in khaki that has emboldened racketeers.
We would inform the police that we are going to seize a so-and-so vehicle, okay? And sometimes the vehicle would not be at the place. So we should sought their assistance so that the vehicle is located.
And how would the money be paid to the police officers concerned, say to a PSI or PI? How would the money go?
That would go underhand. We would not know about it.
You would not know about it.
And it's for using musclemen like Johnny that a consumer court in Delhi has fined ICICI Bank 55 lakh rupees. And the bank's reaction?
We will abide by whatever the court verdict is. There are certain discrepancies in what our agency has informed and what the customer has claimed, and we will certainly look into those discrepancies. We would, however, add that, at no point of time we would justify any kind of coercive techniques or violence in our recovery process. There is a laid down code of conduct which we follow and we very scrupulously adhere to.
On the other side of this break, we uncover the racketeers who sell these vehicles and how the police run some of these yards.
Dressing up new India. Only on Airtel.
ये सोने के अंडे देने वाली मुर्गी नहीं, ये SBI कार्ड का लाइफ टाइम कैशबैक गोल्ड कार्ड है। हैप्पी रिटर्न्स जिंदगी भर। इस दिवाली जितना बड़ा खरीदोगे टीवी उतना बड़ा मिलेगा टाटा स्काई पे डिस्काउंट। टाटा स्काई, इसको लगा डाला तो लाइफ जिंदा डाला।
Everybody is buying, selling and renting property on indiaproperty.com. Log on to the #1 property portal today.
Jay!
Jay, the deal is ours.
Awesome.
It was a real challenge.
I love that.
Here's to Jay.
When do we sign the deal?
How about tonight? Royal Challenge Golf Accessories. Game for life.
Enhance your business efficiency with Acer's new TravelMate Profile Notebooks. Acer TravelMate 6292 laptop powered by Intel Centrino Duo Processor technology.
Life is busy. Acer makes it easy.
Some people refuse to walk on the beaten path, daring to be different and achieving in both spirit and action. Recognizing and rewarding individual excellence in the field of sports and entertainment. The Teachers Achievement Awards salutes these exemplary heroes. The 7th Teachers Achievement Awards. Genuine quality speaks for itself. Media partner CNBC TV 18.
Ride the Enigma with the Great Yamaha Festival Upahar. 0% interest or mega exchange scheme. Yamaha Gladiator. Yamaha.
Hello, little boys, little toys. We're the dreams you're believing. Crawling up the walls, running down your face. Now hold on to me, pretty baby.
Hello, Mogo. Dana Bank wishes you a happy and a prosperous Diwali.
This is Network 18 and you're watching CNN-IBN.
This is the recovery yard of the ICICI Bank here in Goa, and as you can see, there are several cars which have been repossessed by the bank and are kept here until they are resold. Now let's find out how this entire process of reselling actually begins. We go undercover to ICICI Bank's loan department in Panjim.
Whom can I contact?
This is Rolf, who has an agency near Margao. So how does he get the cars from ICICI?
Full lot we are buying. You can buy it. We have 4-5%. We generally buy it.
Achha, so the auction you can manage.
Yeah. Huh? So after buying, we get a vehicle and we resell it.
That's right. The car auction is rigged, so much so that even before the auction, you can choose the car you want and Rolf will deliver.
Basically, if I can go and see I like a particular car, you can get?
Yeah, that I can arrange for it.
But hear this.
Transfer, sometimes the problem arises.
Like what?
Means the customer gives a letter to the RTO not to transfer.
Oh.
Then what we do, we transfer it in the name of the bank. It takes 2 months.
So under normal circumstances, we found that some bank agents are involved in this racket of auctioning cars without even the bank legally repossessing them. All of that is possible because men like Rolf have got the RTO in their pockets.
The RTO, we give something 5,000 and they do it. And it takes 2 months.
And if the owner approaches the RTO and declares the car disputed, then they just forge signatures. That's just what the gang did in Joet's case. But were careless. Rolf left his name and number on this letter, forged by him, posing as Joet for the loss of an RC book, the first lead that led us straight to him. In fact, in a subsequent statement to the police, the bank clearly admits that in Joet's case, Sheikh Rolf was indeed the highest bidder. And that's not all. In confessions made to the police, Rolf and his buddies Kader Shah and Floyd Coutinho admit that they indeed forged signatures confirmed by a forensic report of the Hyderabad lab. But is ICICI aware of all of this? Or do these agents operate only with black money?
One can give white amount also. White amount, black amount, no problem. One can give total white also. You can make a DD direct in the ICICI Bank also. We have no problem.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah, you can do that.
And what's the police been doing about this racket?
Now it is up to the RTO, that is the road transport officials, to look into all these aspects. When they do transfer the vehicle, it is up to them. They have to decide.
But the police hasn't just been turning a blind eye, but its own officers are also involved in running the yards. This is the yard here in Manora Raya where Joet's car was seized and kept by agents of the ICICI Bank. But what is the link with the police? Documents in the possession of CNN-IBN clearly show that ICICI Bank had been using Inspector Colasso's services as a custodian of its repossessed cars. The entire operation was run in the name of Mrs. Colasso, a fictitious character, an allegation denied by Colasso, who is now with the CID at the Double M airport and is also a bachelor.
Never. I have never worked for ICICI, nor have I ever assisted them in any activities. And I do not know anyone from ICICI.
But that's not what villagers at Manora Raya tell us.
It was run by this thing, ICICI Bank. There was a deal between them, this on one car and all, this to get money.
And who are they related to?
और आदलीन और इंस्पेक्टर कोलासो का क्या लिंक है?
वो इसका भाई का बेटा है।
भाई का बेटा है।
The yard belongs to Inspector Colasso's cousin, and the fact that Colasso himself was working for ICICI Bank is confirmed by everyone in the loop. His aunt Adeline Barbosa,
Edwin Colasso.
Oh, Edwin Colasso. तो नहीं आते। मैं तेजे गाड़ी आता यार नीचे साइड में लाइन से मैं सर के रोना गले।
his brother.
Just wondering if any cars are available or something.
He's not in that business right now.
Okay.
He's so used to do that.
Okay.
And the ICICI Bank official.
So he told me that someone called Mr. Colasso was selling in... What?
Even the South Goa SP, Colasso's former boss,
knows about it.
There was some issue with regards to yard.
Right.
Owned by that PSI Culasso. It was given to ICICI Bank on a rented basis, I think so.
But was any action taken?
His involvement is not proved.
The reason is simple. Hear it for yourself from the man who was earlier part of the system.
The police would cover it up.
Okay.
Because they were part of the operation. They used to get their cut would amount to 10%.
Clearly, Inspector Culasso is just one of the cogs in the system. What is clear is that men in uniform are clearly involved in this illegal operation.
In a written response, ICICI's Executive Director V. Vaidyanathan says that ICICI's collection employees do not deal with goons, that complaints are a tiny fraction of the collections and are exceptions, that collection agencies keep bad debts low and lending rates low for good borrowers, and that outsourcing has its risks but is the only way to reach the masses.
On the other side of this break, we find the managers who ran the operations and how the people of Goa are fighting back.
It's time for the final judgment. The 5 contestants you voted for will take the stage and dance to the beats of Darte Disco.
Can we come on stage and just dance with him?
The cast of Om Shanti Om will decide who Shah Rukh Khan will crown as the Darte Disco dancer. The mega winner will get exciting prizes.
Airtel Darte Disco competition brought to you by CNN-IBN and IBN 7.
Don't miss the grand finale of the Airtel Darte Disco Challenge. Presented by Airtel Music on Demand. Dial 543213 and listen to over 10,000 full songs. And please don't be santusht. Thoda aur wish karo, dish karo.
हम सबको कोशिश करनी है स्वस्थ भारत बनाने की और इसके लिए सबसे बड़ी जरूरत है माँ के स्वास्थ्य की। गर्भावस्था में उसकी देखभाल और उसे खुश रखने की। उसके खान पान और आराम के साथ डॉक्टर से कम 3 बार जांच करवानी चाहिए। हर जांच में ब्लड प्रेशर, वजन और खून में आयरन की मात्रा सही होनी चाहिए। स्वस्थ माँ तो स्वस्थ परिवार। और क्या, स्वस्थ भारत की शुरुआत होती है स्वस्थ परिवार से, आपसे।
3 wishes, bolo kya chahiye? What's up, dude? 3 wishes, jaldi, bolo, bolo, bolo. Hello, gorgeous. Bolo kya chahiye? Hey, handsome, tum to kuch mango. Arey, kuch to mango.
Suzuki Access 125 हो तो और क्या चाहिए? इसमें है great styling, great mileage, great comfort, great power.
एक wish मेरी भी?
Suzuki Access 125. साहब की wish करे पूरी.
Everybody is buying, selling and renting property on indiaproperty.com. Log on to the #1 property portal today.
It's one thing to have a big idea. Quite another to bring it to life. So, who can help you get your idea up and running? Someone with expertise. Someone who can really make things happen.
Some people refuse to walk on the beaten path, daring to be different and achieving in both spirit and action. Recognizing and rewarding individual excellence in the field of sports and entertainment. The Teachers Achievement Awards salutes these exemplary heroes. The 7th Teachers Achievement Awards. Genuine quality speaks for itself. Media partner CNBC TV 18.
Only on Airtel. This is Network 18 and you are watching CNN-IBN.
Who were the managers for ICICI Bank in Goa and where are they now? CNN-IBN Special Investigation Team tracks them down.
The shift hours in Panaji. the hub of much of ICICI's operations in the state of Goa. But it's the managers who once controlled the entire recovery operation for the car loan department who are on the run. In response to an RTI application, the Superintendent of Police writes, the whereabouts of Amar Talwarkar, Anthony Dias and Claude are not known. Clearly, the three managers who ran the recovery operation for ICICI are absconding. But what the police seemed unable and perhaps unwilling to do, CNN-IBN Special Investigation team did in just 2 days. Here is Anthony Dias, the former manager of ICICI, who now works for another finance company in Margao itself. So why did he leave ICICI?
There's something went wrong. Yeah, there was some problem. Okay.
And what happened to his colleagues? Where is Claude?
My record is in Dubai now.
And the third man who managed the recoveries?
Okay. Should I be getting in touch with him? No, he is no more working for ICICI. Okay. Amar, I don't know where the problem was with Amar. Okay. Major. I was in operation. After I left, the problem was there in collection department. Okay.
This is the home of Amar Talwarkar, one of the managers of ICICI's loan recovery unit. This home is now abandoned because Amar is on the run.
The only thing we can do is leave our calling card. But it's the fact that the garden is still being watered that leads us to his cousin in the neighboring village.
What did he ask you to do? He asked you to go and get some money from somewhere. And you did not know what he was doing at that time?
He comes and goes, but he's not going to go, definitely.
But have the police come looking for him?
But other people, police will never come.
So even without trying to locate the men, the police issued this statement. But that's not all. In a confession to the bank, Amar Talwarkar admits that he illegally sold cars including high-value ones like a Honda Accord and pocketed collections from several agencies and used the money to play in casinos, which is why the bank has no option but to deal with the very demons it created.
But this entire operation could not have been run without the help of another government department, the RTO.
The labyrinth of corridors at the Road Transport Office in Margao. It's from here that the government controls the movement, registration and licensing of all the vehicles in South Goa. And it's from here that the entire process of illegally repossessing cars was run. Hear it from the man who heads the office.
And the executive from ICICI, you come for a loan to me.
And you make...
Your eagerness is just to somehow get the deal.
Right.
So that is the time they keep a numerous set of forms, which includes their agreement, 30 number form in case you are default to transfer the vehicle onto them.
So effectively, at the time of the loan being sanctioned, the customer was conned into signing away his car.
That is what they are doing. They are taking all your signatures on blank forms and then they are using it for this purpose, which is the wrong procedure.
But the RTO realized this and stopped selling these forms in bulk. And life became more difficult for recovery agents.
There are some vehicles which are not to be transferred. Okay. Because many persons have put in, they are given letters to the RTO. Once that is done now, the vehicle is not getting transferred at any cost.
A fact even ICICI's former manager complains about.
Goa RTO is the worst I can say all over India.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an opinion that's been formed only after the RTO cracked down after the gang went a step further and forged Joet's signatures on these forms bought clearly 2 years after the car had been registered.
Well, there are few cases that has come to light here from ICICI.
Okay.
And it's to take on an organized criminal nexus between bank employees, a corrupt police, and an RTO office, which is hand in glove with the criminals, that Joet D'Souza began a lonely march for justice. His weapon of choice, this bag, which contains innumerable RTI applications. And the greatest piece of evidence, his original registration book of his car, for which the gangsters tried every trick in the trade.
Some guys who had called up my office and threatened that if I don't withdraw my complaint, that he would plant drugs and explosives in my office.
But Joet is no longer alone in this battle against corruption. Meeting here every evening outside this cafe near Margao is this group of citizens who call themselves the United Goan Welfare Front. And their aim?
That we all should get together and start
exposing these people.
And amongst the things they've done is document the corruption rate card in the transport department in Goa.
For each and every work, we have to pay the money, and they have fixed. And whatever they have fixed, we are having. It's all written in that.
Leading the charge to clean up Goan society, this small group of valiant citizens today has 17 well-documented cases of corruption in the transport department, all in this file. And this, they say, is just the first nut in the huge money-making engine that the RTO office has actually become. They even have a case against this man, Manuel Afonso, now the Director of Transport for North Goa, who ironically has an illegal driving license and runs a trucking empire.
He has got nearly about 18 to 15 trucks running on the mining jobs at different mines.
Afonso was in charge of South Goa when Joet and several other middle-class Goans lost their cars in the organized recovery racket. Joet's home, his family and even his story is similar to that of many other middle-class Goan households which have been humiliated, threatened and cheated. Yet, if there's one thing that separates Joet from the others is the fact that he's willing to fight for justice right till the end.
Brought to you by Toshiba, leading innovation.